crowd.
Do they?
It's the new Don Bluth animated film.
Oh,
Who's Don Bluth?
an animator.
He was a Disney animator who parted ways with Disney to do a bunch of animated feature films, including All Dogs Go to Heaven. Hence my pun of All Weapons Go to Heaven.
I did not know that.
Bravo.
I like mushrooms.
I think he also did Anastasia too, if you're familiar with that animated film.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
That unlocked like a childhood memory for me.
Yeah, so those animated films, like the ones that are feature length and like really good quality and showed up in theaters but weren't Disney, those were the Don Bluth ones. I think he did Rockadoodle as well. And yeah,
Or they were Studio Ghibli.
Anastasia
well, that's anime.
got me into history.
Oh yeah,
Which one?
was it? It was a intentional, conscious decision for you to get into history
No,
after
never is.
after you watched. Oh,
never is.
He did Dragon's Lair, the DVD video game. Let's go.
whoa!
I didn't
Nice.
realize that.
Let's go.
He also was an animator on like a bunch of watch sort of references.
Yeah.
He was an animator on a bunch of classic Disney movies.
Did you guys hear the Disney lineup for this year for new releases?
No.
They have a lineup.
Yeah. We got Moana 2, which was supposed to be a series, but they have converted to movie. There's a Toy
That's how you
Story
know it's
5.
gonna be good.
Toy Story 5 coming out.
I can't believe they're still doing more Toy Stories.
I don't know why.
Every Toy Story, I think they've this is the end.
They've thought this was the end each time.
We should have stopped after 3. They have Inside Out 2, which I am actually excited for.
It's called Outside In.
Inside Out 2 is upside down.
I think that's all the ones I remember. There might be more, but those are the notable
My favorite
ones.
description of Inside Out is like how every Pixar film is like, what if toys had feelings, or what if monsters had feelings,
What if
and then
feelings had
Inside Out
feelings?
is what if feelings had feelings.
Yeah, I've seen that extrapolated to a less than. I've seen it extrapolated. Let's put it that way.
It was a conscious
We
decision.
know what subreddits Cleo hangs out on.
Yeah,
We know.
Why do you assume I'm on the subreddits?
So anyway, should we play
I can
D&D?
be on
Should we
the
be done
top.
with this conversation? Should we be playing D&D now? I think we're gonna move right along, right ahead here. Sorry,
So
chat, if
anyway.
I sound sick. It's because I'm sick. So we're gonna do our best here anyway.
It's because he's sick.
That's right. Sick, dude.
Feel sick, bro.
Tubular.
All right, you convinced me. Let's go see a dragon. Kay stands up as you finally convinced him to accompany you on your quest to perform the cataclysmic ritual and restore magic to the world of Urida by literally ripping the aboleths out of the fabric of space-time and removing all that they have done and just destroying it, hence the name Cataclysmic. Outside of the small cylindrical room where you, Kay, Zafkug, etc. are, the vastness of wild space stretches, illuminated by uncountable numbers of stars and nebulae. Fun fact, nebulae is the plural of nebula. As Kay turns to collect his things, and by things I do mean a pile of apple cats, and bundle them into like a large canvas sack, basically, you are left briefly to yourselves, the four founders, set against a backdrop of the cosmos, still kind of dealing with the shockwave of like Zothkug is in here, we're in here. Now we're all acting like this is cool because we want our conversation with Kay and he's going to come with us. What's that conversation like? Or is it just an awkward silence? Like, I guess just take us into that moment where, for like these 5 minutes, you have like a little bit of it's just you all talking or in that space together.
Zothkug, how long did you have to warm him up to the idea of coming down and helping, and he still was this resistant? I am just so curious.
I think we went over this last time, man. It was what Well, I guess I missed him a few minutes ago.
It's been a whole week.
It was what, like 6 months or something like that?
That is, Alan is just still like in disbelief at how difficult that was to convince Kay.
I tried
sounds
explaining
like a
things as best I could to him, but it is just me, you know? And I'm not the most imposing voice of the group.
Understandable, but we love that about you.
Oh man,
I know.
we're a group again.
We were never not a group, man.
Well, I mean, I could see how in your eyes that would appear to be the case. But, you know, for the rest of us, well, me, even in particular, for a long time, I didn't even know anything happened to you. And it was a bit of a shock, but man, I don't know. It's just really nice.
For a short
I mean,
while
Nice
there,
to have you back.
it was just me
what's-
and Alan. You know,
What's been happening? Like, what have you guys been up to? I know you were at like Thraxon House for a while, but I don't know what happened with that. I don't know what the state of the world is in.
Oh man, we've been riding an exponential curve. That's for sure. It's like things have just been ramping up and up and up.
What's an exponential curve? Is that?
So it's like like if you think about it as a curve going down, I'm thinking of it going up, but the same shape going down. It's the most fun hill to go sledding on.
Oh, okay.
It's like straight down, and then it kind of like curves but backwards. So like, you know, a gentle incline, and then almost straight up.
Oh, that's the bad hill to go up.
Yeah. Bad for climbing, good for sledding.
Sledding. Yeah, I gotcha.
Mathematically
Bad for,
speaking, it's a line that the slope of it continues to be multiplied rather than added to create. Anyways, that's
All right, dude skis. I'm ready to head out. Kay has his bundle of apple cats slung over his shoulder, his round belly protruding in front of him from underneath his simple linen shirt. Lead the way. Because I don't actually remember where anything is up here.
I was going to ask you. You said we need to see a dragon. Which dragon are you referring to?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I hope it's one of the ones that doesn't hate us.
Dude, you made dragons hate you? That's a big no-no, man. That's like...
I don't know if mind control counts as hate.
Interacting
If
with
Thraxenhow hates
dragons
us,
101 is like, don't make them hate you, you know? Because
I don't think
guess
any
that's
dragons
true.
hate
they'll
me,
like chomp
guys.
you right up. It's no good. No, I wasn't. Well, I don't know which ones hate you, so maybe I was. I was talking about the mother dragon, the first dragon, you know? Kavor.
Oh,
Oldest and most ancient, most powerful,
think I've met him.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you haven't met her, and be careful around her when you say that.
Oh, sorry. I don't think I met her.
Yeah. She has a lair or a den or whatever you want to call it up at the northern end of the Central Mountains. That's why they're called the Cavorite Mountains.
the Kavor. In my neck of the woods, we call it the Kavorite. You know,
Accents. That's
emphasis
fine.
on the wrong syllable.
It's just an accent, man. It's no big deal. I ain't here to correct Joe Grahams.
well,
Can
so
Alan roll history on Kavor? Like what he knows
Certainly.
about Kavor? All right.
Can I assist him? Can we quick huddle?
How are you assisting him? What knowledge does Jeb have about the history of the world that would allow him to contribute meaningfully to this research?
He knows that the mountains are pronounced Kavorite.
I don't think Jeb has any contextual knowledge that would give him like the ability to aid in this.
Okay.
Alan got a 16.
16. Kavor is a gold dragon. She is in fact the first dragon in the history of the world. She was created during the first era, much like Zanir created the first race in the first era. He created the Hemetetians. Gomtes created the first dragon during this era, Kavor. And Kavor is historically known as being sort of fiercely noble. So Kavor is a law unto herself. It doesn't necessarily matter what the laws of the land are. it's not like Kavor goes out to solve the world's wrongs. It's more like if Kavor is around doing normal hunting or living her life or whatever and sees what she deems to be an injustice, she is very likely to involve herself, and she is not very likely to hold back. As the oldest dragon, she's not really accustomed to there being anything stronger than her in the world. So she has kind of a reputation of like, you know, she could be a bit of a bulldozer when it comes to enforcing her will on the world. However, in recent times, and I guess by recent, I mean the second and third eras. So for about the last 10,000 years, Kavor has kind of, or I should say the last 1,035 years, the last 1,035 years, she has kind of been more of a recluse. And there's not a lot known about why, but Kavor has mostly contained herself to her den. And when she founded Fladena with a number of other powerful dragons, it wasn't like she just did it, but you know, her den is kind of overlooking Fladena because it's at the northernmost end of the Cavorite Mountains. And so she actually safeguards the chamber is a strong word for like it's not a chamber, but it is a big place where the dragons meet when they want to have like city council meetings. It's pretty much just a big block of stone, but because it is Kavor's block of stone, it's sort of like neutral ground for all the other dragons. You know, dragons are very territorial, so they don't necessarily want it to be like, oh, this belongs to so and so, but Kavor has her own big den up in the mountains, so she can be trusted to not intervene in Fladena politics, so to speak. And so that's where they go to have their city council meetings, and she kind of safeguards that space. Her den is supposedly quite expansive. No one's ever mapped the whole length of it because one of her laws is that nobody should go anywhere near her hoard that she enforces unto herself. And so nobody's really drawn, like even, you know, Garlel and the Eos Lore Foundation, and in the Eos Lore Foundation tower, when you had access to all those resources, there was never a map of Kavor's lair. But she's not she's not viewed as like a bad influence. She's just, you know, persnickety. And so you gotta kind of tread carefully around her. But that's what we know about Kavor. She is obviously, you know, gigantic size or colossal size at this stage, just for being so old. And she generally keeps a number of servants who kind of border on worshippers in her company that, you know, kind of act as her mouthpieces in the world and that sort of thing. So if you're trying to get to Kavor, it's not uncommon to run into one of her mouthpieces first, and then they will kind of determine if you have a case worthy of her or not to get you in to talk to her.
Well,
as Alan will relay that to the rest of the group. And what kind of relationship do you have with Kavor? Do you think she will aid our cause?
I mean, I don't know about aid our cause, but I think she's likely to let us through. The 5 primary avatars made an agreement with Kavor when we figured out about the cataclysmic ritual, and we identified the ground where it has to be cast. We sort of encouraged her, without telling her exactly why it was significant, to include that space in her den. So she protects it and makes sure nobody can get there. But because it was the Avatar's idea, man, I bet she would let the Avatars in. You know what I'm saying? We might have to, you know, convince her. She's got, you know, she's kind of set in her ways, which, you know, being 9,000 years old will do that to you. But I feel like, you know, with enough good vibes, anything is possible.
well, good talk. I think we should really get a move on.
Yeah, we can talk on the walk down. It seems to be pretty long.
Do you even know how to get down?
I imagine there's like ladder or stairs or something.
I'm sorry. That question was directed at Kay.
Oh man, I can get down. What kind of music you want to play? I know how to get down. You can trust me on that.
I mean, and he picked the right person from the group.
That's what I'm saying. I see the saxophone there.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you ever got to ride on the boat, but like, dude, the boat was lit. Okay,
It was pretty good, man.
how to get down on that boat.
I mean, physically get down.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Dancing is like a physical art. It's like a thing you do
Alan?
with your
Alan,
body. It
please.
coordinates with your mind. And it unlocks new channels.
Yes.
On the
What
inside.
Fox is asking is, do you know how to get down, as in the direction down, from here in any faster way than the long walk that we just partook in?
No. No, I don't know about that. We didn't really explore when we came up here. We were just like, oh, we should find somewhere cozy,
So,
to wait. And so that's what we did.
The ship's not waiting for us, right?
Well, the ship is going to return after running a few errands.
So,
I mean, my ship's down there. The three of you who were at the ground level know that you sort of plundered his ship for supplies and repairs for your own ship. My ship's down there, so like we could always take that one.
it's not.
Dude.
It's not there anymore.
Alan.
Whoa! What do you
It's
think
not
happened
in
to
a
it?
good condition anymore.
Oh, well, it's
Yes,
been
Jim?
a while. I get it. Wear and tear,
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
You can tell me if this is something that's reasonable to assume or not.
Okay.
But I have a spell called Word of Recall.
Okay.
You and up to 5 willing creatures within 5 feet instantly teleport to a previously designated sanctuary. You and any creatures that teleport appear in the nearest unoccupied space.
It would work for 100
Um,
feet.
Okay. Because
I'm
of the
gonna
range of
pull-
the...
I
All
I
right.
think we could just walk down, right? Like the
Yeah.
ramp wasn't
Alan.
that steep.
I'm gonna pull Alan to the side. Hey, I've been thinking there was some like really powerful wizards here, right? Mm-hmm. And in all of the research and stuff that we did looking through those books while we're up here, we found that they had developed like spell jamming for at least their cities, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't see people. They had to have gone somewhere.
Yes, you would think, because we haven't encountered any bodies or anything, correct?
Yeah, well, at least not that I've noticed.
You have encountered some bodies in the towers, the wizard towers. So there have been a handful of dead
Okay.
bodies there, but not nearly enough to have populated the citadel.
Yeah.
So your conversation's still reasonable, but you have seen a handful of dead bodies.
Not enough,
All right.
at least.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking. One, it might take some time. Definitely going to be way faster or way less time than walking all the way down, right? Because our solutions are competing with 6 months of walking. We could look around and see if there's any leftover apparatus that we could use, or if there's any leftover materials or plans or designs. I mean, they had to have made the things that they left on, right?
So, Sure. if I
that's
might-
an option. But hold on. But the other thing, do you remember way back after we got out of what was it? It was that stupid dungeon under the underground that Makar made. Remember, we got like all the way to the end, and Makar was like, "Gonna leave a note just to taunt you," right?
Yes, I
And
remember
then
that.
we saw him on the horizon. We gave chase, right? Remember when you and I hopped on my blunderbuss and Big Boy, and we like flew up into the air, and we like scouted around. Like, what if instead of being like magically propelled, what if we just had like something simple that we could glide on, that could just, we could like falling off of the edge, but in a manner that would, or like with, I have the concept, but I know you're the engineer.
But yeah,
but something that we could like
grab
glide.
the air. Yes.
But that way we could like at least, maybe steer it a little bit. It would be a lot faster. I
I-
mean, obviously there's no air up here, so it's going to be really fast for the first little while.
Sure.
Maybe that's an option.
If you're just trying to get down, I was going to interject and say, if you remember the time I got out of bed and found out there was something going on, some sort of
Right.
fight overboard, I
Yeah.
can cast that spell again.
But it only lasts a little while, right?
Well, sure. You would have to free fall for a little bit.
Well, that's kind of the thing that I'm trying to think that maybe we need to improve, because we've made a pretty good habit of falling.
This is
and,
true. I've fallen too
Sure,
many
we're
times.
experts at it at
That
this
last-
point, right?
The last 10% is the problem area. Like the first time it like almost did dislocate Alan's shoulder, and
Well-
the second time
But we're getting better at it.
I'm just
Did
getting-
anybody get
Exactly.
injured?
I'm just getting this mental picture of Jeb looking at like the OSHA review where they're like, you need more safety apparatus for your falling. Like your company does this too much for you to get. It's like the surge protectors with fire code. It's like it's too often for it to be allowed to just keep happening like this. You got to build some safety components in there.
So here's the thing. We got to have some sort of safety code, and whatnot that we need to establish for the company going forward, because I see a lot of falling in our employees' futures. But so the thing is like we don't want stuff to fall out of our packs. I mean, this is going to be falling for a long time, probably falling for so long that some of us will get bored for most of it, right? And we need to be vigilant.
Another
right?
thing to keep in
Because
mind, man.
if we start tumbling and slinging vomit everywhere, I mean, like that's going to mess up our timing at the bottom when we try to feather fall. Like,
Yeah, that would not be good.
What if you're blowing on your saxophone, but there's so much air going in the front, sound doesn't come out, like you can't blow hard
But
enough.
that's why I turned around and laid on my back.
Well, that's smart. I'm saying that's not a bad idea. I'm just saying, like, what if we had a little oomph, a little extra something?
Well, I'm saying I think we take the time to search what we can, figure out what we can, because I think right now we're in a place that I never thought I would ever
are
visit
in a
in my
place.
lifetime.
What is that too?
I just think we can't just walk away from it and not come
Yeah.
back with nothing. So I think we look around, find something, perhaps a solution to this, but it all fails. We just can hop off the ledge. I mean, Alan,
Yeah.
you could probably calculate what direction we have to hop off in order to land roughly at the ship.
I would feel better doing so with essentially what Jeb is describing, and like a combination of both of your plans. In that
Solid plan B.
We jump off and we have something to catch us, not literally, but also literally, like catching the air, that we can also somewhat direct. But then the feather fall is an extra measure that we use in the final stretch to make sure that we are extremely pinpoint accurate with how we land.
I'm just saying, if you start getting too complicated with it, and some of it works and one of them fails, because I some of the contraptions you come up with are very complicated, and if one thing's taught me, the more complicated the plan, the more likely it is to fail. And so if it gets complicated and somebody's doesn't work, and we get separated by a certain amount of distance, I can't save them.
Here's the thing. You're 100% correct. The reason that I have a problem with just falling and feathering this time is because there is so much distance.
Yes.
There are so many more opportunities for things to go wrong. Like what
So
if
many
we
factors.
what if we are drift apart far enough? We
just hold hands.
for like what, 18 hours?
Well, it can't be that long. We'd be falling pretty fast soon enough.
It took us 6 months to get up here.
Well, yeah, but I remember hearing a tale about how somebody took 6 months to climb a mountain, but it only took them an hour to jump off of it. And I'm just saying.
how many miles up did we walk?
24.
Okay.
I'm doing that math too.
How long to fall? 20.
So all I'm saying is it's far enough that there are a lot of things that could happen. Now,
I just want to
granted,
say, in that whatever you're about to do calculation-wise, you have to assume normal atmosphere-ish, in the sense that,
True.
like,
I'm just assuming terminal velocity. I'm giving you the fastest speed I
Yeah.
can give you because I didn't bother with it before.
well, because in reality, we would be going faster than terminal velocity because there's little air resistance and we might actually burn up, but that's Earth.
We're magic.
re-entry.
Yeah, we're high enough for re-entry is more the proper term than falling.
Yeah. So,
Did you say
yeah,
24
I just think
miles?
this is a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got 152 minutes.
My calculator is not working correctly, I don't think. So,
So that's like
that
2.5
seems about
hours
right,
ish.
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
too
my
bad.
thumb's gonna cramp.
Cramp on what?
Holding your hand. And what if my
well,
claws like dig
fine.
into the palm of your hand and,
We'll just tie
and you're like,
ropes.
ooh, ouch.
We'll tie ropes.
Oh, yeah, my old flame being tied together in a death trap, falling. That's the one that came. It's the one where it started, and that's how we're gonna end.
You guys
Again,
are very
solid
practical
plan B.
about taking really
Listen.
strange long leaps like this.
It's a vibe. It's a
It is
I
a
vibe.
can
vibe.
see that. I'm kind of
just
vibing with
saying-
it. I'm just saying.
We're all about getting down.
yeah.
I'm just saying it's an option, and I'm 100% on rather than spend our time walking, spend
Okay.
our time searching.
Okay.
I'm all 100% on board with that.
I would like to search for anything about like flying contraptions or gliding
Hey,
contraptions.
K-Man, do
or
you have
something like
any
that.
magic that could get us down faster?
I mean, I could try the Featherfall spell the same way your buddy's talking about, but remember, my magic supplies are limited, and I'm going to
That's true.
assume that the other avatars are tapped out, right? So I'm going to have to
Yeah, I
kind of
mean-
recharge them as well. So I should probably
Would your-
be pretty conservative as far as what I'm casting.
That's
Would your
true.
magic be limited when you're within the proximity of the rod of 7 parts?
Yeah, dude. So, like, the avatars, because we're concentrations of divine magic, the arcane energy from the rods doesn't work the same way for
Oh.
us. We don't pull on the strings of the weave. We are knots in the weave that provide energy in. So,
Knots in the Weave is one of the books of the Jebediah Peppermint Chronicles.
dude, you have a Chronicles?
It's one day.
I
one
wanna
day.
read 'em.
I'm
Can I see?
well. I want to write them.
Yeah.
I
You've
want
been
to write them
taking
someday.
notes on what,
Yeah.
what the chapter should be.
True.
yeah, dude.
Okay.
I think the chapter on or the book on the avatars, though, Knots in the Weave. I think that's a good title.
so.
Sorry, I'm
All right.
coughing so much, guys. I just got a lot of apple cat smoke, kind of going on.
Yeah, it does that.
Okay. You wouldn't happen to have, I don't know, gone for a few walks, explored as you vibed out, as they say.
Not really. I mean, I wandered around when I first got here looking for people, but it wasn't like a long wander, It was like a quick stroll. And
Well,
then
did you
I felt
happen
this
to
weird
notice?
voice in the back of my mind asking me to clean up. And I was like, dude, this is not, like, I don't want to infringe on someone else's space. So I just, like, situated myself in a cozy room after that.
I looked down at the broom, like,
Yeah, that was me. That was totally me. I was just
come on, man.
It's just
important to
be clean.
Obviously, talking into people's heads is freaking them out, even in Avatar.
left. So I was like, well, how am I going to get this place clean? I don't have any legs. I'm just a broom.
Anyway, as Fox talks to himself, Alan will kind of court trip, be like, well, I guess finding any sort of part of the library just to start searching for anything about machinations or plans or machines. I don't know. Was there anything that we looked at earlier that could lead to that? And that's sort of a question to Jeb, but also to the DM.
Well, also to the DM in response to that.
Yeah.
Did we went through a library. Did we find a codex or like a Dewey Decimal System
So you
or something
found-
of where things might be cataloged? And
You found the Plain Callers Index, which is not relating to in the library.
Yeah.
That's a thing relating to planar travel. But you also didn't like explore the library. You were about to explore the library and a broom started talking to Fox and Alan was like, you know what? I will go with you. And Jeb was like, yeah, I'm going to go with you too. And you followed him to where Kay was. So you found a couple books like on the shelves, but they were just the ones that happened to be where you were. You didn't study the library or roll any investigation checks or anything like that. So you would be totally welcome to go back to the library and do those things now. And that would be absolutely an option.
Gotcha.
It seems ridiculous that an order of wizards on this tier would not have some kind of organizational system employed.
yeah.
Sure.
All right,
Well-
so how about we split up and look for some clues?
That sounds familiar. But yes, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, sorry. It's a little bit of a children's tale they used to tell back in the...
Who's going with who,
It's got
man?
stuck in
Or are
my
we all
head.
going individually?
Should I go anywhere or do anything, or should I just like chill? Like I'm not a big head.
Are
for,
you
like,
capable of
Are you
doing anything
capable?
useful?
I mean, yeah, but
That's
like which
mean.
useful things, you know? Like if you need someone to help you vibe or like understand,
Is it?
that's one thing.
Fox definitely needs to learn how to vibe.
Is it given his explanation of what usefulness is right now? Is it me? I don't think
I'm
it
just
is.
saying everyone has different skills that they bring to the table, and I don't think that academic research is my skill. You know how you think of
it's
people,
mine?
You know how you think
I
of
think
people
Kay and Fox should
and
go
other
together,
creatures
guys.
as being specialists. It is way more hyper focused than that for avatars, because we're like created by the gods to like fulfill a certain purpose. That's why Laredith is so brainy.
I'm just
And why
asking if you
Gantes
have
is
eyes.
or why Garlel is so
Okay.
cool. You know what I mean?
I-
It's like we have like one or maybe two functions.
I'm just
on-
asking if you have eyes and can notice things that
Oh, I
look
got eyes
weird.
right here.
Let's before we split up, let's see if we can all find the index of the library, and then we will see what to do from there.
Sounds like a plan, dude. Ski. The outer ring
All
of
right,
this
yeah.
compound was comprised of a number of short cylindrical towers. You're in one of them right now. These towers served as the personal quarters of the various wizard members of the Order. As you leave them behind, you cross a small stretch of open ground with nothing above you but the void to make you feel small. Then you re-enter the Citadel, a massive, vaguely pyramid-like structure topped with 4 beams, climbing heavenward like fingers pinching together to hold one of the stars. Inside, the cold, black expanse of the stone floor is interrupted by great sunken runes at regular intervals. Corresponding runes appear in the walls. This design encompasses the entire citadel, and as you travel throughout the great building, the runes beneath, behind, and ahead of you light up in a faint teal, such that you can always see about 60 feet ahead of you and to the sides, if the path were to fork, in the glow that they provide. You pass first through the control room, its central pedestal looking strange and empty now that Jeb has taken the Plane Caller's index from it. The multitude of glass orbs filled with swirling smoke around the outside of this room look like strange guardians. However, you can't scry through them as your weave is not long enough to reach wherever it is they're attuned to. You cross through a round room with arches laid around its circumference and dormant magic circles inscribed beneath each arch. And from this room, you step into the library proper, a veritable coliseum. This massive structure features a wide-open central space, ringed by balconies stacked on top of each other. Great black stone pillars suspend each tier of this coliseum, and shelves of the same black stone inscribed with various runes hold countless tomes and research materials. According to Clara's legend lore, the Order had amassed at least a little bit of every material known to exist on the material plane for their study. These materials lie beneath massive crystalline shields that protect them from exposure to the elements. At the base of this coliseum is the large series of doors that lead back to the winding path that would take you down the pillar. You, of course, aren't going the whole way down at this stage because you want to look around the library. So as you walk in, you're kind of at the top of this massive coliseum. And looking at the runes that are on the shelves, they do correspond to some kind of organizational system. However, in order to read it, you would need to know Sylvan. Do any of you speak Sylvan?
Loudon has comprehend. Not Loudon. Loudon? That's the name of one of my friends from high school. Alan has Alan has comprehend
not
languages
speak
because of the
Sylvan.
rod.
Does comprehend
Deep
languages
lore.
let you read or only hear?
I think it's read too, but let me
It's
double
comprehension.
check.
I believe comprehend languages lets you read if you touch it.
The literal meaning of any spoken language that you hear. You also understand any written language that you see, but you must be touching the surface on which the words are written.
There we
Great.
go.
So,
Alan will run
yes.
his hands across the runes.
Oh, you're so familiar with this, Alan. Your buddy Dr. Dewey must have had a really wide-ranging influence because his system is employed in this library.
Let's go.
Now, of course, it's less helpful having the Dewey Decimal System when you don't know the names of all the authors. Like, that can make it a little bit challenging. However, in a library this big, like, Alan is a dude who knows research. He comes from a world of research. And you are confident that somewhere there must be a catalog that was maintained that, you know, would allow you to kind of search by subject or whatever. Like, there must have been curators at one point who would
Sure.
help you find the books you needed, because the library would be constantly changing as the wizards were doing their research and adding manuscripts and whatever to it. And it's likely that that would be somewhere prominent, although you can't see it up here on the upper levels of the library.
Okay. Well, it does appear that this library is organized by Dr. Dewey's decimal system. However, it's not very helpful to us because we don't know the authors that we're looking for. However, I do believe that somewhere prominent, and we may just need to look a little deeper in the library, there would be some sort of index or guide as to what different sections, or where you can find specific books on specific subjects. So we may just need to look a little deeper.
Am I gonna be able to recognize that?
It will be something prominent. So as soon as you see something in the library that is prominent, like, hey, come over here, look at me, that would be something to call me over for.
All right. Come on, Kay.
Let's go, dude.
We'll stick together.
And
All right.
then I assume we kind of split up and look
Sure.
go different directions to look in the library.
What are the splits? Are you all going to go by yourselves except Kay is going with Fox?
If Jeb doesn't go with Zoth, Alan will go with Zoth.
Sure. So then Jeb by himself?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go by myself.
So Owlin, roll with advantage because you have Zoth assisting you. Fox, roll with disadvantage. You have Kay assisting you. And Jeb, roll a normal investigation.
Can I add? Well, yeah, I'm not looking for Arcana. Would Arcana help in this?
No.
Instead of investigation?
No, because you're looking for a certain
For
thing in the room.
yeah.
You're not looking at the books or trying to comprehend them at the moment.
Alan
So-
got a 25.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Fox.
Zothkug.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm just trying to help.
Tell me about Fox.
I got it.
He got good news and bad news. Good news, he rolled the same thing twice. Bad news, it wasn't a great roll.
Okay.
But got a 12 total.
Okay. And Jeb?
I got a 21.
Okay. Owlin and Zoth, you are the first to find it. Everyone would have come across it eventually, but Owlin and Zoth, you were the first to find it. Where the stairs are, there's like a big staircase that just leads down each tier. It's like a switchback stair, so there's like a landing at each balcony, and then it goes down to the next balcony. And right in front of that balcony, as you walk towards it, those glowing runes in the floor, one of them glows yellow, and a little holographic projection appears there. It kind of flickers into existence, and it says, "Hey, come over here. I'm prominent."
I believe this is it. And Alan will start stepping that way.
Welcome
Yep.
to
Zoth will
the
follow.
library. Please present your authorization or credentials.
Alan will think for a moment and first say, I am Alan Woodrear, and I am a researcher.
A visiting researcher. Welcome to the library. Which guild do you represent?
Oh, can Alan roll history to remember a guild if he knows one
Sure.
that's associated with this? Okay. 15.
He has no idea which of the guilds might be associated with it, but you know that the Eos Lore Foundation was a prominent researching guild, so you could try them.
The Eos Lore Foundation.
Eos Lore Foundation. There has not been a visitor from the Eos Lore Foundation in undefined. Welcome to our library. Can I assist you in finding anything?
Yes, I would like to find books on magical and non-magical transportation.
Magical and non-magical transportation. You should be looking on the second balcony.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And with a zoom, it kind of flickers out of your perception.
Alan will then say to Zoth, I think we should try to find the others and then head to the second balcony.
It's not hard. You're all just kind of spread out on this top
okay.
ring, so you can even yell across the room to each other. It would just kind of echo across the
Hey
big Coliseum.
guys, I think we found it.
Yeah?
Second balcony!
The index thingy's on the second balcony?
No, we found the index thingy and it said that magical and non-magical transportation was on the second balcony.
Oh,
But-
where's the index thingy?
Right, where we are. Alan will raise his hand. If you need to search for something else, come over here and it'll let you. Just tell them you're from the Eos Lore Foundation and that you're a researcher.
Okay.
Or what
It's a-
guild you're from.
Sorry, I'm not saying your name, Kay. I'm saying okay.
No, I get it, man. I get it. That was confusing for like the first 1,000 years or so of my life, but after that, I kind of figured it out.
right, just making sure.
No, I get it, dude. I get it. You're just trying to be clear, and I appreciate that.
Well, anyways, I'm going to the second balcony. You can if you want, or look for something with the index.
I'm gonna check out the index.
I'm going with Alan, guys.
All right.
Where are you, Jeb?
Where is Jeb?
Jeb is slowly making his way to the index, and under his arm is the Librum of Souls and Flesh.
Okay. Who wants to get to the index first? Who? It doesn't really matter to me.
Alan and Zoth.
We're already
You're
there,
already
but
there.
we're heading
You're
up to
leaving.
we're heading to the second balcony.
Probably I'd say Jeb only because I have Kay with me and
Sure.
I know
So,
we're not in a hurry.
Owlin, go ahead and roll another investigation with advantage. This is now that you know where you're looking. This is just looking for relevant books. Jeb, you arrive at the index, and just like Owlin saw, the rune lights up a kind of gentle yellow instead of teal, and the flickering apparition appears in front of you, vaguely humanoid, but not particularly like any species. And it says, "Hello, welcome to the library. Can I help you find anything? Please present authorization or credentials."
Jebediah Peppermint.
Please present
Of the,
authorization or credentials.
I'm going to take off.
Did Jeb
One
not
of
hear
the-
Alan say something about the AOS Lore Foundation, or was he in his own world?
I'm going to take off one of the golden peppermint cufflinks that Grandpa Cole had
Okay.
and present it as authentication, like credentials.
The sort of holographic creature kind of leans over as if it's examining, and it looks deeply at it and it looks back up at you, and it says, "Unfortunately, these credentials belong to an applicant whose request to join was denied. Present authorization or credentials."
I am his protege and would request application to join.
Application to join requested. Please visit with one of the curators to continue.
In the meantime, I am a representative of the AOS Lore Foundation as a researcher.
Roll deception.
In the meantime, I'm breaking in.
This is Jeb's version of hacking.
18.
AOS Lore Foundation. We have not had a visitor from the AOS Lore Foundation in 2 minutes. Welcome to the Citadel. Please enjoy your stay. Can I help you find anything?
I'm looking for information on resurrection.
Resurrection. You are looking for divine magic or necromantic magic. Please specify.
Necromantic.
Necromancy is on the 4th balcony.
Thank you. Is there a mode of transportation or a lift in here that would speedily get me to the 4th balcony?
No. Walking is good for reinforcing what you have learned, as it allows your brain to better soak in the details of what you have recently read. Please enjoy your stay. And it kind of flickers out of existence.
And I will head to the 4th balcony.
Okay.
I love how this robot is asking for
Trevor
authentication.
froze. Trevor
like
loves
to
Hal,
do-
and then he froze.
Oh, I froze.
You're back now.
Yes.
What do you love, Hal?
Oh, how the robot's like, you need authentication, and just saying you're with the AOS Lore Foundation is enough as authentication.
Okay, so Jeb wanders off. Jeb, go ahead and roll an investigation to look at the books on that tier. And Fox, you arrive at the same Sentinel. You get the same kind of challenge from the little hologram.
just-
Please present authorization or identification.
I'm just saying, Kay, that I just met a friend who I had accepted as dead. I don't know how to confront him over that. I don't know how to reestablish. Sorry, just bear with me. Does this thing even have a name?
That is so tough, dude. As far as I know, it doesn't have a name. It didn't give us one. But that is like such a sticky situation because it's like you have already had to process and like maybe even move on a little bit. And then now it's like whiplash, right? Because like your life continued, but then what about his life, you know? And like, how do they rejoin each? It's not like he just went away on vacation and you were like, yeah, see you later, bro. You burned
man.
his body in a funeral pyre. Of course, it's totally natural to feel all weird about it, you know?
I just, that's, all right, don't tell the others. That's honestly why I tagged up with you. I don't know. You're an abstraction in my mind, and no offense, I find it hard to see you as a normal person.
Hey, I'm
so
just
it's
hoping to
easier
get more literal every day, man.
All right. Sorry. What's your name? Thing.
I am index number 32. Please present authorization or identification.
Can I call you Dirty Two?
Dirty 2.
32. I am. My colleagues probably came here before me. We're part of a party from the Avis Lore Foundation, and we're just doing some research in various fields. My name specifically, if you need to index that.
Guild name
is
unrecognized.
Fox.
Please present identification or authorization.
Kay, did I say the right thing? As I whispered to Kay.
I think it might have been Eos Lore Foundation.
That's what I said. Avos.
No, A, like when you're at a party and you're like, Ayo, it's like that with an S at the end. So there's no va.
There's no va?
No, it's just, it's like, Ayos. Like that.
I've been saying Ava this entire time.
And they didn't tell you? That is so disrespectful. Wow, dude.
So it's
you have
Eos.
a lot to process through, man. I'm glad that we're getting this time together. You know?
Listen, man, if it wasn't for the Apple Cats, I'd probably really want to beat on you right now. But
respect that you feel that way.
sorry, out of game.
Yeah?
I just got surprised because there's this just a stink bug on my mic right next to my face.
He wants to play.
All right, sorry. Freaked me out. Here, I can. So you can see I'm not lying. He's sitting right.
We don't
there.
believe you.
I just see your mic.
You don't see this right here?
Stink bug not
Yeah,
accepted. Please present authorization or identification.
Sorry. 32. Eos Lore Foundation.
Eos Lore Foundation. We have not had a visitor from the Eos Lore Foundation in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Welcome to our library. Can I help you find anything?
Yeah. You know what? Can you help me on the history of changelings?
Dude, I could help you with the history of changelings.
Yeah, I just really would prefer maybe I had a source that wasn't you. No offense.
Historical chronicles are one of our lower stocked options. However, what we have you may find on the first balcony.
All right, maybe something else then. I don't know, man. Musical magic?
Musical magic can be found in the bardic section on the 5th balcony.
All right. Do you want to get down, Kay?
Let's get down.
All right. I head to the 5th balcony.
Great. Go ahead and roll your investigation for looking at bardic magic things. We'll come back to Owlin and Zothkug, who have been looking at magical and non-magical means of transportation.
Only got a 13 with advantage. The first roll was a natural 1, so I'm glad there was advantage either way. But
So you find, you definitely, I mean, there's tons of, kind of depictions of less useful forms of transportation, right? Like there,
Sure.
carriages and the history and growth of the carriage, because studying transportation is something that wizards here would have cared a lot about. And so there's all kinds of modifications and permutations of ground transportation options. You find a few like manuscripts of something you've never heard of called a submarine that are highly theoretical. It appears that none was ever constructed because they required water to construct. You do find, because it's a mundane form of transportation, you do find a kind of a breakdown of aerodynamics and their relation to parachutes. And so there's a big descriptor as far as like hang gliders and different forms of parachutes and, the inclusion of a secondary escape chute and things like, they've put a lot of study into falling well, probably because of the altitude where they live. So you do find that. You are not able to find anything about spell jamming or wild space as far as those kinds of magical transport go.
Well, Alan will definitely hold on to the stuff about parachutes.
Sure.
We can make parachutes, man.
Yes, I think that this could be very helpful, and especially because it seems as though the wizards here kept these specifically for research to have to do with possibly being in a situation where they needed to get down from here quickly, which gives me a bit more confidence as to the effectiveness they would have for us.
So, like, what's been happening since I've been gone? Like, is Fox okay? Is everyone okay?
Oh.
Like, what's going on with the Avalis?
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot. Obviously now we have all 7 pieces of the rod, and we also now have gathered all the avatars that we need, except for Bumblefoot, who had passed but had left a trail to find the components that she safeguarded. And yeah, it has definitely been difficult. I will not try to deceive you about that. Fox is going through a lot right now, just with Kay, and I think some of Kay's connection to her, parents and lineage, and, losing you, there was all the stuff with Jeb, with potentially losing Jeb and then getting Jeb back. Well, Jeb was taken by the Aboleths when we rescued Laredith.
I'm going to briefly interrupt to pivot our scene to Jeb next. We can assume, though, that you take however long it takes to catch Zoth up fully on what the adventure has been. So, Jeb, you are following the advice of the kind of curator hologram thing. It sent you to the 4th balcony in order to look up necromancy. And what was your investigation? You're muted.
It's really good. I rolled an 18 plus 9, so
Nice.
27.
Do you have any more specific things that you're looking for? Like, are you looking for a spell scroll of a certain spell that you can copy or something like that?
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Jeb has researched, I feel, death enough, or is familiar enough with death to know that clerics can cast, or in the past have been able to cast resurrection spells.
Okay.
The tagline of necromancy doesn't disturb him so much.
Okay.
So he's mostly fiddling through, like flipping through, looking for a way of tethering a soul back to a body after an extended period of time. and he wants to stay away from the bad juju if he can, but he is willing to look at the bad juju if he needs to. But he knows that like clerics do it all the time, or like they used to anyway, for a large amount of money at least. So there's got to be some way, whether it's a spell scroll, whether it's a complicated ritual,
A cleric in your party.
How do you like locate a wandering soul to be able to coax it to the right location? You know, that kind of stuff.
Got it. Let me see here. So I'm trying to be.
Well,
go ahead.
so here's another thing too, is he knows that in times past, when resurrection would happen, it was like the calling out would have been to souls that had already passed on to the afterlife. This is not the case with our current situation. So he feels like whatever is out there probably needs to be altered somehow to take into account the current state of the world.
Right. So. Okay, so sorry. I want to be extra generous with what he finds because you rolled so high, but that's going to require me to do some research offline to figure out what you actually found.
Okay.
But you find, I'll give you the properties that are in it, and we'll figure out what the actual spells and stuff are between sessions.
Maybe
you find an
he could have found a book on it, and he can like dig into it later.
That's what I was going to say. Is you find a necromantic book. It is not the Demonomicon, but it's another of Tasha's works. And
Okay.
Tasha, because she was so interested in traveling the planes, and specifically the negative planes, but she was traveling through all the planes and kind of exploring different things. She spent a lot of time learning, like, what would you do if you got stuck in them? And so there are some spells in there that are related to kind of bringing someone back from like the ethereal plane or from the abyss or whatever that you think could probably be modified to achieve what you're talking about. And she also includes in there that if you can't find the target, like if she went missing and no one could find her, there must be some divination spells that could be used to find her from far away. Some kind of, magic circle divination option that would let you locate a soul that was missing among the planes. And it would probably be super highly powerful, 8th or 9th level, she's thinking. And she would have written it in the 8th or 9th degree, but something like that where you could locate a particular soul that was missing in order to then bind it to a body. She also includes a deep explanation of the phylactery and how to make one in her writing. So that's a thing that it doesn't include the actual spell. It's like a deep step-by-step, like here's how you do it if you can find the incantation. It seems that you get the sense from reading her words that she wanted to preserve the actual spell for herself, which implies that perhaps she has one somewhere. So that is
interesting.
Those are the things that Jeb is able to find as he does his research. We cut from Jeb to Fox, who is on the, I think, 5th balcony maybe, looking at Bardic Magic, and he rolled a natural 20. What is that with your modifier added to it?
I only have a +2 to investigation, so.
So it's the equivalent of a 32. Actually, I think D&D 5e doesn't do that, but I'm going to do it because you did good. You done good, kid.
Yay.
Especially despite Kay being there to interfere with you. So you're looking at Bardic Magic. Be more specific. What are you after? Are you looking for more spells? Are you trying to get a free level up? Like, what's the dream here out of your research?
To be honest, just trying to understand it better. However you interpret that is fine. But I think Fox is just trying to understand what he's tapping into, and to get a better understanding of the tool he now has access to.
Which Bardic
'Cause he
college
rarely
did you
uses
spec
it.
Fox into?
I don't know if I leveled up enough to get...
I think you need 3 levels to get a subclass.
You know what? I think the last level I did take at college, and I didn't choose it. Like, I didn't write it down, I should say.
Do you have
At the
your
time.
college feature written
Classic
down?
Fox.
That is
Yeah,
classic
I'm
Fox.
looking it up. I'm looking it up. I'm sorry.
What did you major
You're fine.
in Bardic College?
That's right.
I didn't go to college.
The College of Jazz.
Okay. Bardic inspiration. Yeah.
That's what the movie Whiplash is about. Going to the College of Jazz.
There we go.
Very good movie, by the way.
Very good movie.
Okay, I think it probably would have been. Ooh,
Do you have your class abilities written down? Like,
I
even if you didn't.
do, but I don't have them. Usually, I have them written in one area, and I don't have anything there. So I'm guessing it's probably one that doesn't have anything crazy. So I'm guessing it's lore, but I'm looking for cutting words. Maybe down.
So the
towards my
answer
spell.
is
Cutting words
I
is the College of Lore.
don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's why I was looking for cutting words on my character sheet. But I don't. Did I not choose a college when I leveled up?
It was a community college.
Not
You take
not
the level
quite
and decide
enough
the major
school
later.
spirit. Yeah, exactly. Not quite enough
Kill
school
me
spirit to declare it.
The Bardic
Well-
College of Genheads.
Yeah, it'd probably have been just lore.
Okay, we'll spec him into the Bardic College of Lore now, and you
Write
find
down what it can do.
It's like an encyclopedia, you know, where it's like multiple volumes, but each one is a history of the Bardic College of whatever. And so you find the history of the Bardic College of Lore, which you may peruse at your leisure. But it includes everything from the formation, like which master bard, you know, created the college, and who did they apprentice, and how did that get passed down through the generations, and you know, what is the College of Lore known for now, and what are some of its goals and objectives, what does it mean to be a part of the College of Lore, you know, what are the values that are reflected in their students, what is the kind of creed or ethos that they want to reflect in the world, all those kinds of things, major historical events that the College of Lore was present for, and how did they influence those events.
Okay.
You find kind of all those sorts of details. Among them, probably the biggest and most interesting thing that you see the College of Lore being a part of is that the College of Lore was sort of an offshoot of the Eos Lore Foundation, in that, you know, the Eos Lore Foundation tried to study everything. The College of Lore cared mostly about history and, you know, the way the world worked and all the pieces that came together. And so a number of academics and scholars from the Eos Lore Foundation kind of went their separate ways on good terms, but like went their separate ways to found the Bardic College of Lore. And they were present at most major catastrophes. Like, in addition to just documenting lore, they wanted to make sure they didn't miss any. And so a lot of their bards tried to make sure that they were present at anything world shaking, which meant recruiting huge numbers of people and placing them usually incognito in positions where they would find access to these things. And there are a number of sort of call signs or call and response type things for bards in the College of Lore to identify each other that would grant them access to like safe rooms and safe passage and assistance from each other that are written down in this book. So you can now kind of add that ability to your character sheet. It would be your ability to basically access any other bards in the College of Lore that are in an area. You would know how to spot them, so you would get advantage on an investigation check to find them. And then you would know the call and response necessary to gain their assistance, as if they felt positively towards you. They might not go to battle on your behalf, but they would help you with simple tasks or, you know, something like that. So it's kind of like you have access to the Brotherhood, so to speak.
Okay.
If you
I note
know
that
if you
down.
know passphrases, you could maybe use it on the index and see if it unlocks something interesting.
Ooh. Yo, Kay,
Yeah, man.
hear me out.
I'm hearing. Wide open
right,
right now.
I want you to say, you can read this, right?
Yeah,
I want
dude.
you to read this out loud to that, you know, dirty two back there, and say you're from, you know, the Bardic College of Lore, and see if they give any special response to you.
I
I
see
feel
what
like
you're
it
saying.
might be a little sus if I say so after I've already introduced myself, you know?
That makes sense. Yeah, it's like you got something written on your badge, then you say you're something else, and they're like, whoa. Yeah, I get it. Okay, which
Right,
one do you want me to?
right.
Which one do you want me to read? Tell me the call and response you want me to read out for him.
All right, so this one is for identifying like other historians within the Bardic College of Lore, which I
Sure.
think is the most applicable.
Okay.
This one is were you there for the fall of Cavorite?
All right, let's try it. And he kind of like heaves his bulk, back up to standing. He'd been sitting just resting against a bookcase while you were reading for who knows how long. He kind of walks over, kind of plods, over to there's one on every floor. So he just heads over to where the stairs are, and the yellow rune flickers, and the thing appears and gives him the call and response. And he reads that out to it. Were you there for the fall of Cavorite? And there's a brief pause, and then the yellow hologram flickers and turns green. And it says, "Welcome, historian of the College of Lore. Do you have any particular manuscripts you are in search of?" And Kay turns back to you and he's like, holds his hands out like, "Am I in search of any?"
The last one searched under the College of Lore.
The most recently looked at manuscript by the last College of Lore visitor. Yes, of course. You can find it in the recently viewed section on the 15th balcony. All right, man. Thanks for your help. My pleasure. And the hologram disappears. Wash has a hand up. Is that a DM thing?
It's a Jeb thing. If I could.
That's fine. Go ahead. They're walking up to the 15th balcony now. They're going to be doing it a while.
Jeb is going to approach the index on the 4th balcony.
Okay. Jeb approaches the index, which flickers to life, the yellow kind of holographic spectral humanoid standing there. Hello, and welcome to the Eos Lore... Not the Eos Lore Foundation. Welcome to the Order of the Exalted Rings Library. How can we help you find things today?
I'm looking for information on an artifact known as Crescendo.
Crescendo. Artifacts and historical tomes can be found on the first balcony.
I would also like information on an object known as Lodin's Stone and the material that it is made out of.
You can view our collection of materials on the 13th balcony. Lodin's Stone was the product of a catastrophe in the history of the world, and so you can read about it on the first balcony.
Thank you. And
My
I'm going to
pleasure.
head towards looking up information on Crescendo and Lodin.
Sure. Roll 2 investigation checks. You can pick which one is for which. Owlin, what are you and Zothkug up to?
So that's crazy, Alan. I mean, that's how he lost his leg. I think coming back, I can fix his leg if he wants me to.
That would be a good thing to talk to him about, although I do believe that he is currently happy with his prosthetic that Laredith created for him. It does double as a weapon, which he greatly appreciates.
Well, I'll ask him, obviously, before doing it.
Yes, of course. Well, now that you're caught up, I think I'm going to spend some time probably looking for materials to see if I can make any sort of parachutes like these. I'll see if I can let everyone else know, maybe yell out across.
Well, I'm probably going to go see Fox unless you really need my help.
No, I think that's okay. I'm just going to look for if they have... I might go back to the index and ask the index where I could locate materials and such things.
All right. Do you know where Fox went?
Jeb is going to fly past their balcony on his blunderbuss and be
Okay.
like, "Hey, there's an index on each balcony," and then I'm going to cast fly on Owlin and be like, "For the next hour, you're speedy. Make the
thank
best
you.
of the day," and then he's going to
Okay.
Wait, Jeb.
zoom. Yeah, what's up?
Do you know where Fox went, man?
And he just does like a little quick loop around the middle area. Yeah, he's over there.
Okay, thanks.
Zoop.
And then Alan's going to zoop to an index and ask the index whether there's a repository of building materials or something.
The index tells you that
experimental
you can view
materials.
their collection of materials on the 14th balcony. I think it was the 14th balcony. If it wasn't, it is now.
Okay,
Amazing.
Alan's going to zoop to the 14th balcony and start tinkering.
Great. So you find it is just ringed instead of bookshelves. They're just massive. They look like display cases, except that the like crystalline fronts of the display cases are like blast reinforced. Like you probably couldn't cut through them with the strongest drill you know how to build.
Okay.
However, they can be opened by simply placing a palm on the case, and the wall disappears over specifically that material. You get the sense, just from your knowledge of the workings of artificery, that when you do that, the system is reading into it who you are. Like it's identifying the person who is using the material in case it, needed to figure out who that was later. So you kind of get the sense that it like tracks down your identity before it opens, and then you're able to get to the materials. What materials are you trying to play with, or what are you trying to achieve?
Well, Alan is trying to create a prototype parachute.
Sure.
So fabrics.
Yeah.
Trying to he'll like test the strength of different fabrics, and like what mostly testing strength of different fabrics. Also some different types of rope.
Rule and artificer
things
tools
like
check
that.
with advantage because you've got the book with all the research on parachutes in it, and we'll come back to you to see how it went. Let's jump back to Fox.
Okay.
Fox, what are you up to right now?
Well, I'm going to the 15th floor.
Yeah, but I can't remember why. What were you learning about?
The most recent viewed
That's right, from the
thing
College of
by
Lore.
somebody from the College of Lore. Yes.
The most recent thing that someone from the College of Lore was viewing is the history of the Hemetetian War with the Drow in the Underdark, which drove them out of what is now the city of Stainless, down into the Underdark. They waged, it's called the 400-Year War. It was ended when Salen, Queen of Gaim, walked in with literally an escort of 4 of her Gemstone Guardians into the middle of the battlefield and demanded that they find peace between themselves. And so she, with like an escort of 4, basically brokered peace between 2 warring armies on the field of battle, which is one of the reasons that she's so legendary and like well known throughout kind of the world of dwarves. She just walked out there and was like, "Y'all shut up," and basically put that war to rest.
Right.
The manuscript then goes on to talk about what they did later and like what happened after that tenuous peace was formed, because any war that ends in a tenuous peace, it's not like the war just shuts off, right? Like you've got kind of bad juju between the two societies, and it usually takes a couple generations for them to sort of get back to a neutral standing. And so there's a lot of talk about those kind of initial conflicts and things like that. And in particular, you find evidence that the one of those conflicts took place near Nauteri, where the mermaid city is, and where the pillars of eternal vigil are and stuff. And there was some kind of schism that was created during that battle, and there's the historian who was there is not sure whether it was created by the combatants, whether it was waiting to be opened by like an amount of negative energy. Like they don't know exactly what caused it, but all kinds of horrors just began coming out of that schism, and it was actually a big factor in brokering peace between the two nations, that they suddenly had a greater threat than each other to deal with. And so these kind of outriding parties that were still kind of battling with each other without honoring the peace treaty, they suddenly were like, okay, but we're all like creatures on the material plane, and these things are awful and they're going to kill us. The historian notes that the creatures that were coming through the schism had all kinds of strange behaviors, but most strange about them is that when destroyed, rather than lying dead for study, they kind of evaporated into like a smoky mist, and they caused a number of weird like sensory effects where they would just make weird sounds or colors or whatever, like just strange things like that would happen. And the historian expressed concern that as the only historian that they knew in the Underdark, they had no way of knowing if there were any more of these schisms and what might be coming through them.
Okay.
So this would have taken place late in the Second Era. So probably in, 1 to 2,000 years ago, kind of in that range.
Okay. I'm in the most recently viewed area where just, I guess, things are put here to be sorted back in.
That's
I'm
exactly what they
why.
are. Yes.
Yes.
They're waiting for some kind of curator to come and put them back where they belong.
Can I find the most recent thing viewed before today?
Absolutely. The most recent thing viewed before today is a deep study on sacrium, the material sacrium, and how it's dated post-darkening by about 4 days. And it is a deep study on how to retrofit the new... It points out that sacrium has been observed to be newly different. Like, its material properties have changed. It appears to have been charged with magic. And also, magic from the weave has stopped working. And it is an in-depth study by one of the wizards on how to retrofit sacrium onto their spell jamming hardware so that they can use it to leave and see if magic is working in the outer planes. There's no writing about what they did, but you could assume or infer from that document that what they did from there is they went and retrofitted sacrium onto one of their spelljammers, and all of the ones who were still alive left. And that is what happened.
So you're telling me 4 days after the darkening?
Yes.
Interesting. So 4 days out of the darkening, they found a way to survive. Because, like, right now, it's like we're surviving on spells, right?
Yeah, bubble spells and
Air
charms.
bubbles.
If we get outside the 100-foot radius of which I think we all have a rod, don't we?
Yes.
Except
Zoth
Zoth,
doesn't.
but
does
he's
not.
with you. I
Okay.
guess unless you zoop away.
Zoth was going to find Fox.
In that case, retroactively, Alan gave Zoth a
That's
charm
fine.
of air bubble.
That's fine.
So, okay, that's interesting that somehow in 4 days they were still alive and decided to leave, which means they must have been, I'm just talking out loud to Kay, they must have been in a position that meant they couldn't sustain it forever, but at the same time, they were still able to sustain something, like...
Well, I mean, even, before you got up here, like, me and Zothkug were able to breathe. It's just thin air. It's not like no air. It's just like, we had to take things real slow.
Yeah, but you're keeping things, I don't know, like, you're an avatar. Surely you have slightly more concentrated air around you.
It doesn't really work like that, man. Like, I've got magic and I could use the magic, but I have the limited store of it. So I've been trying to kind of save it up for, like, really dangerous stuff. Like, if we had been in danger up here, yeah, I'd have snapped on the air. But, like, we were just chilling, And
So you telling me you guys barely moved and somehow sustained off of
apple cats
such
and
little
apples.
air?
That's what it was.
Apple cats give you less air!
Yeah, dude, but apples are great. So it totally worked out. You want one? And he just pulls an apple out of his sack. You want an apple, dude?
Fox just angrily takes it,
Yeah.
takes a bite out of
bite
it.
into that. It is like crisp and fresh and happy. You have an apple now. You restore 2 hit points.
Why are you like this, Kay?
What do you mean, dude? Why am I like what?
All right. Well, if they had a chance to escape, why did some people die?
I don't know. Maybe it was exertion. Maybe like all the people that we found dead were in like their private quarters, right? So like maybe they were in charge of protecting their own private quarters, man. Like I don't know. Maybe there's less air out there than there isn't
technically
here.
Isn't that by definition private quarters?
I'm not
I'm
sure.
in
I follow
charge
you.
of defending my own private quarters at all times, by definition of them being my private quarters.
Yeah, but I mean, like, maybe the Citadel had its own, little magic-y bubble or something. And maybe the private quarters didn't, unless they cast it on there. I guess the Citadel's bubble would have gone away too, huh? I don't
Yes,
know,
that's
man.
what I'm saying.
That's wild. As wild is what it is. Maybe they just had a lot of apples.
Fox! Where are you, Fox? Are you up here?
Oh, it sounds like it's Zothkug. Hey, man, we're over here.
Oh,
We were
there
just
you
having
are.
some apples. You want an
Over
apple?
here.
He pulls an
Apple?
apple
Yeah,
out of
I'll
the
take an
sack and
apple,
hands it
man.
out to you. You want an apple?
I'll take an apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just doing some research.
What'd you find?
Yeah, you know, usual
We found documents.
nonsense.
Documents, dude.
We Alan found some schematics about parachutes.
Oh well, that's definitely a little bit more helpful than what I found. Well, I'm sure it's interesting, just not helpful to our current predicament.
I wanted to tell you, Fox. It's we haven't really had the opportunity, but if you want your leg back, I could cast a spell to bring it back. But Alan said you got a cool new prosthetic that doubles as a weapon, so I don't know if you want to keep that or if you want your leg back.
Just to clarify, Zoth was there when Fox lost his leg the first time.
Up while Alan is tinkering, you see him raise his eyebrows suddenly and then scribble a note on one of his papers. Zothkug, return from death has resulted in addled memory. And then he continues tinkering.
Yeah. Right now is not really the issue at hand.
It's not the
Okay.
issue. It's more like the issue at foot.
Good one, man. Good one.
I just figured while we're up here in a safe space that, you know, we can have the time to do said spells
This
before
totally
we
is
get
a
crazy.
safe space, man. I can
Thank
see you're
you,
feeling some emotions right now, Fox. I just want you to know that it's safe for you to feel those emotions, and it's okay to just let it out.
Okay. So, anyway, I found some interesting documents about how evidently right after the darkening, there were some people still alive up here. It at most only for 4 days, but they managed to use Sacrium to retrofit their gear and their, you know, spell jammers and such, and they were able to leave. But they were able to be up here for at least 4 days. Unaided.
Whoa.
Doing research and active work.
I mean, we've been up here for 6 months.
I've already had that conversation with Kay.
Yeah, we talked about it. I told him about the apples.
Oh, yeah. The apples were good.
Yeah.
I don't think that explains that, but you know,
Good enough for me. Crunch. He like bites into an apple.
Plenty of
Me
apples
too,
and
Crunch.
just 2 cats.
point is we
Yeah.
weren't able to survive up here without using magic.
Are you sure? Like, have you tried it without the air bubbles?
Who is casting the air bubbles?
Jeb flies by and he's like, got him. And then he like flies off.
Who was casting the air bubbles?
Jeb.
Jeb.
Jeb. I mean, sure. You know what? Maybe talk to Jeb about that. Figure that one out.
I think he
But-
just zooped by.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, that was him.
Jeb now says zoop when
Yeah,
he flies.
we
He's just
we
like,
cut
zoop.
we cut to Jeb, who is zooping. What's Jeb up to?
Jeb is going to first look up the material Loden to
Okay.
find more about it, and if there is any in stock. I rolled a 14 plus 9 for a 23.
Okay. There is some in stock. It is magnetic in nature, and it has magnetic properties. You find a sort of a basic write-up on the substance next to it in the materials store on the 14th balcony. And then historically, you also find... Go ahead. Sorry, Alan.
I assume you come across Alan.
Yeah, he
while
probably
you're up
does
there,
zoop
too.
right across Alan. So yeah, if you want to have that scene.
Hey, Alan.
Jeb, yes.
And Jeb places his hand on the thing, like flips it up and takes a good big chunk of it out. This is the stuff. You remember that little stone that I had that would let me reverse gravity?
Yes.
This is like the stuff. Do you think maybe we could
Oh.
implement this on the Cug boat or on your apparatus or whatever? Like maybe we could use it for
Perhaps.
maneuvering.
Perhaps. I think that, yes, it could be an interesting mechanism to add to what I am possibly working on here. And I guess I'll show you here. Alan will kind of slide towards Jeb the book on parachutes and aerodynamics.
Oh, nice.
And also kind of demonstrate, the fabrics that he's testing. He rolled a 16 total for his tinkering.
Oh, yeah, he's got a working prototype.
Okay, so he'll show Jeb like his prototype parachute, and yes, I am interested to test this on a shorter distance, perhaps off the top of one of the towers, just reaching to the base of the. I would be willing to. I've fallen enough times that I would be willing to conduct the test myself.
Well, I was gonna say if you had Fox do it, he could feather fall if it fails.
That is true. Maybe that is safer. I will ask him about that.
Yeah.
But yes, I think. A test run or two, and then perhaps making more of these. There seems to be enough material here that I could make enough for all of us.
Looking at your designs here, I don't see any, like, maybe it's on a different paper. Did you put something on for, like, us to steer with it? Like, are we going to be able to control ourselves, or is this just a slowing descent?
Can Alan have done a little bit of research, or even already done like something where you could have the two cords that you use to like guide a parasail type dealio added on?
Yeah, he's got time. He's an artificer, and he's got a book writing it up. So yeah, certainly it's maybe he's made a the Breath of the Wild type glider.
Even that, or it's like a parasail almost is what I'm imagining, where it's like a parachute where you can still steer it.
Oh, I see. You have and so these are the handles and the cords. They attach.
Yeah, they attach, and then you can pull one direction and you'll turn that way. Pull the other direction and you'll turn that way.
Okay, nice.
That sort of a thing. Yes. So yeah, I will find Fox and see if I can. I guess convince is the wrong word, but see if he would be willing to test.
Convince might be the right word.
We'll see.
But okay, yeah. So maybe we'll hang on to this stuff for when we get back to the Cug boat. I'm thinking those Wingle digits aren't going to last forever, and if we could get something that manipulates gravity, then as long as one of us or a rod is there to power it, that
this is true. Maybe there's no need for thrusters at that point, or thrusters in the traditional sense. Interesting.
Something. Yeah, or maybe even like nullifying the buoyancy of it. We could just like land. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to put this in my pack for now and see if we can do something with it.
Did you happen to find any research on maybe the mathematics of the force that the Lodenstone puts upon items, or
I grabbed this book and I'm just gonna dig through it later. It was like a material science. It's like an MDST book, because it breaks it all down. It was a little heavy in the middle. It definitely has some sort of magnetic stuff is what they called it.
Once we get to the Cug boat and we get a chance to maybe implement it, I would love to take a look at that book.
I'll keep it in my pack.
Perfect. Well, I will find Fox.
Okay. Josh.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was Jeb's voice. Josh. I rolled a natural 20 plus 9 for investigating Crescendo. And one thing I am particularly interested in is 1, its last known whereabouts, and 2, if it is an actual plant, if there is like a seed archive here of a plant like something from Crescendo, or
no seed archive here. Your search takes you to where it takes you to an empty slot on a balcony where you would expect to find a history of the Bardic College of Lore. You are directed by a sentinel up to the recently read section, and so you come to the top of the steps. There's still a conversation going on between Fox and Zoth and Kay about leaving and the things that Fox has found. You see in Fox's hand, probably in one of, he's probably got like books in each hand as he's kind of juggling through or whatever. One of them is the history of the Bardic College of Lore.
Hey, can I hold that one for you? It looks a little heavy.
I was looking through it earlier. What makes you interested in this one?
You remember that plant that Zoth had in the pot?
Yeah.
And how he was like looking for an artifact called Crescendo? Sources tell me that book talks about it, and I'd like to see what's going on.
Yo, I'd like to know that too, man.
Oh, hey Zoth, I didn't see you there.
Oh, we
Yeah,
were just having
sure.
some apples, man. You want one? Kay pulls out an apple and hands
Oh
it
man,
towards you.
apples.
Yeah,
Really?
dude. That's what we've been living on up here. Just so
Man, I
super
haven't had an
packed
apple
with
in forever.
nutrients. Yeah,
They're
have an
really
apple,
good, man.
dude.
You know these things sliced up and fried with like
yeah.
Dober eggs are
That's
like
the
top notch.
stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, if you won, you're probably going to get more out of this than I will. In my other hand, I also have this. I mean, it's not as nearly as thick, but seems to be research notes on some people who managed to retrofit Sacrium to escape here. It sounds like they didn't die right away when
Well,
the
good
Dark
for them.
Reign happened. Well, yeah, good for them, but I'm kind of curious on like the details of that. But it's I don't know, it's a little above me. But maybe you can get something out of it.
If it's Sacrium based, it's probably more in Owlin's wheelhouse. Weird house. That's a great way of putting it.
I heard that. I found you, Fox.
Alan, wow, you. Oh right,
Oh, well, the
Look at
gang's
us.
all together. That's
The
Yes.
four
Cool.
guys, man.
the four guys,
four guys.
and also me.
And
Yeah.
also you.
Jeb kind of steps back a little bit and opens back and tries to covertly slip the Librum of Souls and Flesh into his book or into his pack.
Sure.
Just be like, while we're talking,
as you
he's just
slip
like,
it in
oh
your
wait,
pack
it's
and
in
you
my
let go of
arms.
it with your hand, the kind of chill that you didn't even realize was kind of racing across your skin goes away. The clammy feeling kind of clears.
Ooh, it's hot in here.
As Alan is distracted, going up to Fox. If I'm not mistaken, Fox, it seems as though you've recently completely overcome your fear of falling. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. I think that's correct, given
think
the
that's
evidence
correct.
recently. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Whoa!
Way
Whoa!
to manifest
I mean,
those
we've
actions.
literally-
I need
That's
you
the
to
Literally
back
been
up.
living life on the edge for the past 6 months.
Yes.
No, that's not.
Anyways,
that's
now that
not
we've
accurate.
established that as a fact, Fox, I have an interesting proposition for you. And Alan will like produce this parachute pack that he's built.
Fox, you see what appears to be a backpack.
I would like you to wear this and pull this cord while jumping off of this tower.
That sounds fun, man.
Why me?
Because you can cast Featherfall on yourself.
I
if
can
it does
cast
not
it on
work.
other people too.
But
can
you have to be
cast it
touching
on yourself really easily.
I could cast it just as easily on anyone else. In fact, easier because it's easier to play this instrument while I'm planted on the ground.
them. But don't you have to
but-
touch them?
Exactly. You would be
I
falling with
know.
them anyways.
No, it's a range thing.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh,
the
interesting.
closest range is yourself.
that's true. Yeah, that's what they say.
That doesn't mean it's any more effective.
I think it actually is. I think I read something in my grandpa's notebook about it
Oh,
being
his grandpa's notebook. His grandpa
like
knows everything about Featherfall.
1.2% more effective if
For
the range
sure.
is yourself.
All of that aside, Fox, I will test it if you do not want to. That is fine.
I can test it.
I don't want Zoth
That's
to
very
test it.
brave, Owlin, taking your own life into your hands. I mean,
We
yeah.
just got
If only
you
we had
back,
somebody
Zoth. If this
who had your
doesn't
back.
work, and if for some reason Fox
I'll test
doesn't
it.
cast, okay.
I will
Hey.
test
Oh,
it.
Owlin, that's great. That's a great idea. Fox is going to do it. He had the
Great,
idea
perfect.
all
Thank you for
himself. Yeah.
volunteering, Fox.
Yeah, that makes sense because of Featherfall. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it does.
Why didn't we
Well,
think about that? That's a good
Alan
idea.
like holds
Kay-
out the
Kay says,
backpack to
"Hey, dude,
Fox.
I'm gonna walk down to the first balcony so that when you land, we can talk about this new layer of emotional baggage. I'll be waiting for you downstairs." And he just like plods off down the steps.
Alan, man, you forget the time we had in the elevator.
Jeb's putting the backpack on Fox.
I feel like
Jeb,
I've
who is like as
What's
tall
a-
as Fox's shin.
Yeah, he's standing on the table.
Sorry, the elevation
Sure.
change machine.
I was about elevator sounds familiar, but you're right. Elevation change machine.
Oh, he flies.
I feel like I've
Oh, yeah,
I've
he's
been
got fly.
in I've been in a lot of elevation change machines. When were we in an elevation change machine? So I'm trying to remember.
When we were going into the under the sea to save the dragon.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had that bubble that saved us from the falling
Hold on to
elevator.
this one.
Oh yes. That feels. Well, you remember that. That is interesting because previously you didn't remember that later that evening, Fox lost his leg and Jeb was
That was
captured.
that evening?
That was that evening.
Oh. There's
Is-
you know,
Do you think that has to do with your resurrection?
Fly with
I don't know, man. It's been a long time.
That's fair.
I've been
I
up
also
here with
didn't.
Kay.
I didn't catch it either at first because a lot of those memories kind of, blend together.
and then you grab
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Well,
And then I've been up here with Kay, who I haven't been smoking Apple Cat, but he has, and it's just residual.
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I understand. Well, it looks like Jeb is giving Fox the tutorial. That is perfect.
All right, so I just pull on this.
You pull on that,
Yeah,
and then you
well-
steer using, as Jeb was miming, using the two handles that will produce once the
Like-
parachute unfurls.
Like this. Fox yanks it.
Jeb kicks him off.
Just off a balcony.
He yanked it. It's
Okay. Well, I assume it unfurls as Fox starts falling.
Fox
the
gets
balconies.
kicked off the balcony and begins falling. His parachute is sort of out already because he yanked on it as he flopped off the side. As he falls, you also see, you know how those runes have been kind of illuminating as you go? So the ones on the wall are like, doo, 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 doo. It's, like a little sequence of lights as he flies past them. The first 2 or 3 tiers glow in that same teal that they've been glowing in. And then one of them glows bright red and something just erupts out of the glyph, zooms towards Fox. It is a vaguely humanoid steel-looking blur, catches Fox, and you hear fall detected, arresting momentum, and it zoom lands on the other side, like in the balcony, and then it just gently sets down Fox before kind of materializing into the other rune on the other side. The red turns back to teal. Fox, as you are flying over towards this, your parachute does flap out behind you and catch some of the air, but the momentum of whatever this sentinel looking thing is easily enough to overpower it, and so you are forced onto the other balcony and dropped without a hit point of damage into a resting position.
Well, that's cool.
That is extremely cool.
Don't
although
do
counterproductive
that!
for our test.
so did
Fox,
it work?
I think it
I
technically
don't think we
worked.
can test it with these glyphs around.
I agree. I intended for Fox to jump off the exterior of one of the towers, not
Oh.
in the interior.
Well, I mean, he pulled the thing.
That's true. I will need to take
I
a
was
few
gonna
minutes to
fly with
reset
him,
the
but
pack.
man, he took off.
That is correct. I will need a few minutes to reset the pack, and then Alan will yell down, "That was a good warm up, Fox. We're gonna do it on the outside next time."
Fox is out of breath. Just he has no idea what just caught him in midair. It was gone so fast it's all a blur. It's like
So wait, where is Fox?
he's 3 balconies down on
He's
the
over
other
there.
side of the tower from you.
3 balconies down is a great
I'm-
bard band in
You know
Urda.
what? I take off the backpack and I just leave it there. I go to the nearest index thing.
Okay. Yeah. What are you looking for? We don't need to continuously
what
roleplay
floor
the same
am I?
conversation.
What floor am I on?
You were on the 14th.
Alright.
You fell 3, so you're on the 11th balcony.
All right. And what's on this floor?
Some stuff. Some interesting things. You get
I'm
the
gonna go
idea that I am
find some-
plugging in your requests to the balconies as we go, rather than having an actual map made for myself of where everything might be in this library.
Can I roll a d20 to determine what I just found? Perhaps
Sure.
a d6 if it makes it easier on you.
Absolutely. Roll your
All right.
d6.
I got a 6.
Okay. You're on a floor with great historical incantations. And as you go through, without the somatic or material components, they're just the words of the ancient wizards or whatever.
Sure.
And so you just pick up the first one, you're in A, whatever you see, you pick it up, and you just open the book, and you open it, and it says, "We're no strangers to love."
This must be some sort of love incantation. I continue reading it.
It says that you know the rules, but so do I, and that a great commitment is what the writer was dreaming of at the time. And you wouldn't get that from like just anyone, really, or anyone else at all, actually.
Oh my god.
This is I go ahead and with the whole thing. I'm just gonna cut that out. I'm like, this is a masterpiece right here.
Pick any 3rd level bard spell and add it to your spell list, but you must sing Never Gonna Give You Up whenever you cast it.
Josh, we're gonna end the stream right then. That's it. We won.
You won D&D. That's
That is
it.
the best DM improvisation I think I have ever heard.
I think actually
Josh,
that's the
get
end
an
of the campaign.
inspiration for that.
That's it. You beat the Aboleths.
Your next roll that you make, Josh, you get advantage.
Oh, thanks.
And Wash benevolently gifts that to you, Josh.
I see that. Just remember that most of my rolls are made for your antagonists.
I rolled
Well,
that
okay then.
I rolled that natural 20 on investigating crescendo.
That's
Could
right.
I apply that? Could I apply that to reading through that book now that I got it
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
Fox?
Sorry, that was meant to be. I was going to give
figured
you the
it.
rest.
I
of
just
it
wanted to
when
bring
we
it
got
up.
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
meant to be.
Crescendo is an artifact created in the year 10,100 by the great entity that is it is sort of a great communal entity. There isn't a specific name for it. It is a river rock with a rune on it that magically increases the growth of nature within a 30-mile radius. And because it is druidic in nature, it cannot be bound by druid magics, and so it still works, or it should still work here in the post-darkening world. It was entrusted to Setonia, first avatar of Khotix, for defense, but it was stolen strangely and mysteriously later in the Second Era. And from then on, nobody has any idea where it was. The historian writes, I theorize that it is in, and then 2 pages have been burned out of the book.
Can I cast mending on the page?
Yeah, absolutely. You cast mending on the page, and the burn shards kind of unfurl, and it kind of the reverse burning effect. So the page kind of reforms. A little bit of ash dust kind of like flutters off the edge of it. You kind of brush it off. The bard from the College of Lore who wrote this theorizes that it has been lost somewhere in the Southern Sea because of the incredible. How would you describe this? There's like a very lush ecosystem that is thriving in the sea between Aspesh and the nomadic lands where Zothkug's tribe used to be. So let me see if I can pull up our map here. I don't know if I have the map loaded into this one, but let me give it a shot.
I know what you're talking about. It's on the river at the end of the acid corridor.
Yeah, so between Rustfree and this clump of trees, there's kind of a random, like, sort of smaller sea that's landlocked there. The section of that sea that is a deeper blue is like an exceedingly lush area. So there's a lot of fauna that are growing, but also like the underwater sea creatures that are there and such have been just thriving. And so this historian theorizes that while it may have been stolen originally, it has possibly become lost and embedded in the seabed near this area, or perhaps even deep enough to be, kind of partway down to the Underdark, where it would require a serious mining operation to get to it and recover it. They were unable to get down to the Underdark to verify, but they said they have sent some missives to other historians and hope that they will carry on the work on their own. The historian that they name is a familiar one because recently Fox read about them being in the Underdark near the Drow and the Hemetetians, and that historian was obviously busy with war-related efforts, and so they were not able to follow up on this request or missive, and so that's where the inquest stopped.
Interesting.
That would also put it a significant distance from where you originally met in Season 1, Episode 1, which makes it less likely that Crescendo was related to Zothkug's magic plant.
Oh, we were so sure that was what the magic plant came from.
I don't know.
Interesting.
How
While
is the
I'm
plant,
here-
by the way?
Man, I want to give you like a big list and be just like, I want to take like all the time in the world.
I was actually just about to ask. So we're going to assume that Alan, being an artificer of significant level and having literally the blueprints, is able to craft his parachutes in a reasonable
Okay.
amount of time. So the question is, how long do you want to spend up here studying before you leave and head back down the tower?
Well, also, I do have one other thing.
Yeah,
You said any third level bardic spell, right?
that's what I said.
All right. I would like to go to one of those deceased bodies.
Sure.
I'm gonna play on the sax. Man, I can't. I don't think I can hum it. I have to sing it. So
Yeah.
I apologize. This is not lore accurate. We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy.
What's the spell here?
I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm casting Speak with the Dead
Okay.
with one of the corpses I find.
That's actually really clutch and really brilliant.
You wouldn't get this from any other guy. And then the corpse sits up.
Hey, man, I really don't want to ask you a question, so I'm just kind of using statements right now. Because I only get 5 according to this song. So,
The 5 Questions of Love is the
What?
title of the book.
yeah. What killed you, my man?
Lack of air.
Okay. Was it sudden, or did you live for multiple days?
Over multiple days.
Okay, that's 2 questions. All right, I gotta use these sparingly and intelligently. I got a couple other corpses. It's fine. What were you doing when the air became thin? And
Sleeping.
Okay. That's not what I meant. I found documents mentioning that your order was working on a way to use Sacrium. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Did you do anything in between the time the air became thin and you died?
Choked. And it like flops back onto its bed.
I guess I could have asked questions about before that. Well, I got more corpses. So I should probably confer with somebody else before I waste. I would have to wait 10 days in between each casting for each corpse.
We just stay up here for a year asking the dead questions.
Well, guess I'll go ask Jeb what he thinks are important questions. So I head back down. I'm talking to myself, but I'm actually talking to the broom. Just for clarification purposes.
Because that makes you seem more sane.
I assume the broom doesn't give me any real response besides really wanting to sweep.
The broom just, it's just like it's ready to go on an adventure and clean up.
Yeah, and I just ignore whatever it says and pretend that it's a great listener.
Cool. Somewhere deep inside, you kind of miss Kay. What are the other 3
Yes.
of you up to?
Going to Fox?
Well, treat the rest of your time here as like a block. Like, what are we doing before
sure.
you leave the tower?
I want to know if
Occasionally.
like what it is about druid magic, and if we should get crescendo, would that allow Zothkug to cast divine magic in, like, without having to attune to a rod of 7 parts, or like, is that something? Like, I don't know the nature of it, so it's like, is it something that when we have to give up our rods, we could use in the meantime, or like how does that work? Because
Druidic magic is arcane in nature, and so you would still be bound by the same rules. The reason crescendo specifically is not bound by it is, and a better way of writing it, those were my notes in season 1 whenever we came up with it, a better way of describing it is that, like the avatars, crescendo is a knot of magic created by a god, the chat god, so to speak. So it works in a limited capacity the same way that K works in a limited capacity, a very limited capacity. So that's what it meant. Like, because it's a knot of druidic magic. It's not like it can be sucked down by the weave. It's like, well, here's this druidic magic. It's here for however long it's here.
Gotcha. Okay, that could be valuable.
Yeah, so it could still be useful for casting spells. It just wouldn't be like, yeah.
Probably would spend my time, conferring with the others what questions would be great to ask from the dead, and then asking the dead those questions. 2, testing, quite unwillingly, but reluctantly, the parachute device. And 3, avoiding Zoth passive-aggressively as much as possible.
Sure. What are you hoping to... Well, I guess you guys can work out the questions if you want to that Fox is going to ask the dead. But if you have just a target of what you're trying to learn, we can just roll an investigation and turn that into a downtime activity. Sort of.
Anything about spell jamming.
Okay. I'm going to write that down.
Mm-hmm.
I got a spell for counteracting spells.
Oh! Fox, what if you spoke with the dead with somebody that looked super official and got their credentials, and then you could shapeshift into them, and maybe we could access like a restricted area of the library?
Okay. Funny enough, I think it only takes me a minute to really get somebody's mannerisms down. And I think Speak with the Dead might just be long enough that I could actually gain their mannerisms.
I don't even think it'll take much to fool these guys. I mean, we didn't even have to show credentials for the Eos Lore Foundation.
Well, I mean, they might ask for more for,
higher profile stuff. Yeah.
Right. It's a difference between what's your credentials when you show up at the public library versus what's your credentials showing up at Fort.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something, some fort.
I think what we did was the equivalent of just like writing our name on the little paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I attempt talking to one of the dead about if they have some sort of restricted area for knowledge.
Roll investigation. This is to find an official-looking wizard, and I'll warn you, the DC is very high.
Is that me that's looking for this, or Fox?
Fox. You can assist, so Fox, you can roll it with advantage.
Can Fox assist me?
No, because Fox is the one.
I'm casting the spell, but I don't necessarily need to find the corpse.
And
I
I'm
just
flying.
need someone to point out the corpse.
Sure, you can do it. You're just trying to use the Rod of Luck on it, aren't you?
No, I could make him succeed if it was the Rod of Luck.
That's true.
I just know I'm better at investigating. Like, it doesn't make sense that Jeb would like be like, yeah, you go find it, when I'm like good at investigating that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right. If you roll worse than what I just rolled, I'm going to be upset.
What did you roll?
After realizing I have the College of Lore, and I made investigation one of my expertise.
Oh, look at you.
Ooh.
I got a 19.
I got a 19, and in my presence, both of those crit.
Nice.
You are able to critically determine that there are no wizards of high rank left at the Citadel. Because you rolled so high in your investigation, you find their chambers and such, and you are able to retrace their steps through various things to determine that all the important wizards left. Like, they're the ones who were able to retrofit the Spelljammer and get
That
off
tracks.
of the... You know, they're all the really powerful ones anyway, so they were able to keep themselves alive, retrofit the Spelljammer, and get off the material plane.
Damn. I was hoping
Well,
we'd find one
how
that was like
about-
really dependent
well,
on magic. And
I was
going to
say one of one of their rooms, you find a badge or a medal or something, like, you know, a little piece of actual identification that they might be able to show.
Gotcha.
One of them left it behind. You know, they were in a hurry, they were working hard, whatever. They all know each other by sight. It's not that important once they're out of the Citadel to carry their ID
Is
with
it
them.
too much of a stretch to say that wizards can be very vain sometimes and that they
I know,
have a
exactly.
portrait of their likeness in their own room? I mean, they're very proud people.
I think it's too vain to suggest that they have a portrait of their likeness in their own room, but it's not too vain to suggest that, like a country club, somewhere there's a hallway with a portrait
That's
of
what I was
every member of the, you know, longtime member, like people who've reached tenure in the order of the
Right.
Exalted Ring. And so, sure, you find a portrait of Barnabaris Alabascaboo. Who is a conjuring
That's the name.
specialist.
Barnabaris?
Alabascaboo.
Alabascaboo.
Yeah, Barnabaris Alabascaboo.
That's a good, solid name. Yeah.
Barbarous
Barnabaris.
Alabascaboo.
Barnabaris.
Barnabaris.
I
Alabascaboo.
put it in the Twitch chat there for you. Barnabaris Alabascaboo.
Barnabaris Alabascaboo.
I don't know where
mean,
he's from, but he's not where I'm from.
Now I know why you just call me Jeb.
Barnarabas's wife called him Boo. But
All right.
Barnabaris Alabascaboo.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
I'm
good
gonna
wizard name.
go on a limb and hope to God they call him B.A.
Barney.
Barney. Yeah, Barney. Right.
Barney
and
Alabascaboo.
I'm gonna go into his wardrobe, find
clothes.
some stuff that like roughly looks like him
Yeah.
in the portrait.
Because your armor doesn't change clothes or change.
You
shape or
can't. It's a
anything.
tutu.
Well, no.
Oh,
Lost
that's
a bet with
right.
Clara. It's a tutu.
That's right.
I don't think it was 6 months long.
It was forever. There was no end date on it.
God. All right. Well, Fox is gonna have to talk. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put words, put on the clothes, and then put words to my thoughts, and go down one of the index.
I need to make a GIF of the of the spire just like rotating with the little steps going up and Fox just walking with the tutu bouncing, just like an infinitely animating GIF of it constantly spiraling up.
So yeah,
Sure.
I'll go to the index.
You go back to the index. You tell it you're Barnabaris Alabascaboo, and it asks what you're looking for.
something secret. Wink,
The
wink.
restricted area.
The restricted section.
I have seemed to have used anti-mimetic magic and have forgotten my place and where I'm at. Can you show me where I need to go in order to find our most sacred and hidden knowledge?
In order to prevent unauthorized access, that kind of information is not present in the autonomous Sentry system. You will need to find a curator and ask them about that.
There is no curator to be found.
In order to prevent unauthorized access, that kind of information is not stored in the automated sentry system. You will need to find a curator.
Can
and
you
ask
give
them
me a
about
map of the location? Because I'm lost.
I can provide
Hey.
a map, and the hologram disappears, and a tiered map of the library appears. It's just the library.
Can you provide me a map of the larger area?
In order to prevent unauthorized access, that kind of information is not stored within the automated sentry system. You will need to find a curator and ask them about that.
Where is the nearest curator center?
The curator's desk is located on the first floor.
All
Where
right.
is it?
It's worth a shot.
I'm looking, like, Jeb has just got his nose in his book looking at his spells while you're doing that. Maybe we can find a curator. You can ask him questions. Because, like, if you're still dressed as the person, they need to,
Oh,
they respond to, like, who you're talking
you're
to,
right. Yeah. All right. So we go down to the first floor and see if we can't find someone who looks like a curator.
You find a curator's desk.
Well, I guess they wouldn't die at their desk. That'd be kind of sad, wouldn't it?
They were like really passionate about their job.
All right. I go to look for any documents or just like anything written down that might have been like, oh, so-and-so's on shift this day.
You find some documents, but they don't seem to imply that there's anything secret hidden in the Citadel. It seems like most of the secrets are hidden on the individual, sort of ring city things that they made.
I don't think we're going to find anything too crazy here, Jib.
Each one of them does seem to have like a bunker of some kind on it that contains like an archive of interesting information on each of those kind of...
Each one of the traveling cities?
Yeah, each one of the like floating ring world things.
Not with that attitude, we're not.
I mean, we could search private quarters. I mean, that's where the only thing I can think of people would hide things they didn't want public knowledge, right? Is if they were working on their own project.
Maybe.
I'm surely these people had private workshops. That's like what you all dream of, right? You and Owlin having your own like little tinkering area.
I mean, that is the dream.
This is like where the dreamers end up, right? Like this is the place to dream to be. So I'd imagine there must be private tinkering shops places.
I mean, this place is not inhabited, so I would love to just like lay claim to it, even though it is kind of heresy for my people. I would love to just like have this place as mine.
Well, I mean, nothing's stopping you, but I mean, except for the fact
Aside
you gotta
from the
leave.
heresy, yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way, little dude, but it's going to be a process to get back up here again. I'm not sure this is kind of worth it as like it's cool real estate, but is it good real estate? You know what I mean?
I guess with
Like-
permanent magic, maybe, man.
Maybe if we fix magic, then you could come back and just get here first, you know? Like they're still going to be dead when we fix magic, if we fix
Well, I
magic.
mean,
So then you
not
could
the
come
original
back.
owners. A lot of
You
them
could try and,
left,
like-
and
Well, yeah, but they're like, who knows when they'll find out if they're in the outer planes. Maybe there's no magic out there too. What do we know? You know?
but let's be honest. I mean, Jeb, are you okay pissing off a bunch of like ancient wizards?
As long as I'm better than them, yeah.
I think it's just a numbers game. I'm gonna be honest. Like I 100% believe you could take one-on-one in a duel. I believe that. But 2, 5, 10, 100.
Hey, man, I can do miracles. I'm a miracle worker. That's me.
That's a statement to make about yourself. That's a particular kind of vibe.
I can't deny that though.
See?
He did save my life quite a few times in what I can only describe as a miracle.
And you
From
saved
what I
mine,
hear,
and he does like the
yeah.
little hey, punch, back and forth.
Yeah,
DM.
me
Yes.
Are there precious gems and metals in the material store?
A little bit of every material.
Stop stepping on Alan's thing that he's doing the rest of the time.
Let's come back to Alan because Fox and Jeb have been having a moment for a little bit.
Sure.
But we'll come back to that,
Yeah.
Jeb. There's a little bit of every material. So yes.
as Alan is going to spend the rest of his time making the parachutes, but then also collecting samples from the different materials that are available, like things that he hasn't seen before, things that he'd like to learn more about, like spend more time studying. He's just going to collect samples of things that, like, materials that interest him.
Okay. They're like, you only have so much space in your pack.
Yeah. Small
So-
samples.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, like, unless you're taking like literal pinches of dust of each material, like we're
Okay.
gonna have to be a little bit more picky
Get
than that. There
specific.
is some of every known material on the material plane
Okay.
present here.
He's
So-
going to take specifically material.
Chat, that's the face of someone who's scrolling through his spell list looking at the components he needs.
No, it's not. Oh, it's the face of Wash doing that, probably, yes.
Yes.
And Trevor.
Yes? Not Fox. Jib?
Hey, I was just coming up here to get some ruby. What you pulling together?
Oh, I just thought a lot of this was very interesting. I think it would be interesting to find materials to perhaps make you a new spell focus firearm. That was what was interesting me.
Alan,
But-
I'll also say, like, just because you have so much time to research and this is kind of what you're focusing on for the time you're up here, you also find one of the materials that Laredith has been bemoaning not having for her machine to stabilize the Rod of Seven Parts. So
Well,
you don't
then
know if it's
Alan will
enough, but you definitely
definitely-
can, like, take a handful of that.
Yeah, Alan will take a handful of that.
Maybe pick like 4 more materials to take a
Wow.
sizable handful of.
Okay.
While Owlin is doing this, Jeb
Yeah.
is going to take his marvelous pigments and paint on the ground a little case with like jars and like lids on them and everything, so that we can like put materials into them and like close
Sure.
the top, almost like a little red toolbox.
Cool.
That kind of
Nice.
like whoop opens up with little jars inside.
Yeah. Trevor's got a hand up. What's up, Trevor?
I wanted to ask what value diamonds they store here.
There is up to, we'll say, 500 gold pieces of any particular material in the storehouses here. So that's the level of value, because they have so many materials. Like they're like shoebox sized or smaller containers in
Yeah.
order to store them all. So up to
Okay.
500 gold pieces of any material. So you can take 4. You can take 6. Alan can take 4 because he's got 1 book. Jeb, you can take maybe just 1. You've got like 5 books, right, that you threw in your pack. You've got the necromancy one. You've got the Demonomicon. You've got
Tasha's Book of the Dead.
Tasha's Book of the Dead. And then you took one of the ones you found today, right?
That was Tasha's Book of
Oh,
the Dead.
yeah. Okay, cool. So you've got 3. So then you can take 2 materials instead of just 1.
So for Revivify, it says diamonds worth 300. So I could.
Yes,
take
so you can
just-
get 300 gold pieces worth of diamonds easily. You get
Perfect.
500 gold pieces worth.
Yeah. For Resurrection, it says 1 diamond worth at least 1,000. So not that.
Yeah, you can decide if the diamonds that you found are, multiples or a single one.
I think I get multiples because Greater Restoration is diamond dust worth at least 100.
Okay, so that
And
means you've got 1 of each basically, or I guess 2 greater
Yeah.
restorations and 1 revivify.
Yeah.
I can use Fabricate to combine, split, or turn to dust any amount of mineral that you have.
Perfect.
It doesn't
That's
really
even
make a
better.
difference as far as encumbrance. Like, I'm not tracking the weight or anything like that.
Right,
I'm
but
just
I'm
trying to make
saying,
sure it's
like-
realistic amounts.
For the
in
purpose
case
of
they didn't
forms.
have dust.
Sure.
But yeah, for the purpose of forms.
Cool.
I'm
What-
going
what
to take.
I- oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, you were here first. You were here first.
Okay.
I'm still
what
painting.
what I am envisioning is that Alan has a vision of creating a firearm / spell focus for Jeb that is like
Jake just froze.
soup. Oh,
Did Jake just die?
Jake! No, I'm here.
Firearms
I'm here. I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Oh, we're so close to the end of the stream. I wonder if
What's
his laptop
happening?
just died.
No, I'm right here.
Jake's gone. Jake has
Freeze
died.
ray.
We'll work out with Jake
With
in the
my
chat what he
freeze ray.
finds, or he'll jump back
Oh.
in here in a second from his phone, maybe.
I just wanted to add in there. The only thing I don't know if I mentioned already is I do want to talk with Kay about changelings.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, figure out something I'm not aware of, about my history, just
Yeah.
general curiosity
Sure.
about, I found the founder of my people,
Right.
right? It's like I found Adam,
Yeah.
right? Or Eve.
So you're just asking him like about the history of the changelings and that kind of thing?
Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe he knows some like weird changeling stuff. He's like, yeah, did you ever know you could do this? And, he just like turns his neck 360 degrees or something. I don't know.
Okay. I'm not sure that conversation is worth role playing because I'm not
No,
sure
it's
how it
not.
would go, but you definitely have it.
Okay.
Is there anything else, Wash, that you would be doing with your time?
I'm going to take some ruby. I think they spell it RWBY.
Yeah.
Up here.
That's how I spell it. You get 500 gold pieces worth of ruby.
And then I'm going to perk up at the idea of Jake. I'm sorry, not Jake. Owlin talking about like a new blunderbuss or something. Like
Yeah.
what's this? This sounds really.
We will
interesting.
work out.
Okay, hey, can you hear
He's
me?
back. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah, you're back. You just rambled on a really long stretch there for a second.
Specifically, Discord screwed up completely. It was nothing to do with my internet, nothing to do with anything else. There was like a
Weird.
whole minute where
That's
I was
okay.
like, "You guys can't hear me.
So you're
I can
back.
hear you." Anyways, okay. Alan's vision here is to create a spell focus for Jeb that is extremely durable. Like something that if we went through something insane, that it would like stay together and be working just as fine as something that was like, that has never been harmed. So I guess the out of character thing that I'm imagining is Alan wants to like make a completely like carbon fiber and metal gun for
Like it's got powdered adamantine in it.
Yeah,
I was going to say like maybe some mithril adamantine compound that he makes so he
Yeah.
kind of gets the benefits of both the lightweight kind of benefits of the mithril and the strength of the adamantine. Yeah, that's
he wants something for Jeb that's gunmetal gray.
If it's okay, so if it's that sturdy and that means we could make it more compact. It wouldn't have to be really big, and
Yeah.
it could probably like house raw sacria.
Yes, that is quite an interesting application. I like that a lot. So Alan wants to collect materials for that, basically.
Cool.
Cool.
Alan does so. You collect the materials
right.
you need, but you'll still need to use the downtime to make it at some point. Maybe
Sure.
on the tugboat.
And that'll be on the boat, yeah.
Oh. When everybody else is done collecting stuff, Fox can't help it. He's just gonna collect every little precious gem he sees.
He can
And
collect 4 handfuls of 4 precious gems.
I was about to say, like, just like a couple pounds, like enough to fill like a
So just like
pouch.
emeralds and stuff, like not a particular component or whatever, just like quote unquote
Nah.
precious gem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get 4 handfuls of precious gem TM worth 2,000 gold pieces.
Okay.
Anything else before you all leave?
That is it for
Hey,
Alan.
Fox, man, do you want to do your leg before we leave, or?
Not the problem right now, Zuff.
This is the safest
I'm
time to
about-
do it.
You're having
About
this
to jump.
conversation as you walk down the hallway towards the like double doors that lead back out onto the Pillar of Eternal Vigil. So
Who
you're on, like, the
knows
ground
what
level of
trouble
the
we'll be
Colosseum,
in?
The glowing runes illuminating your path.
Yeah, sorry, I'm about to make a jump here. Right now is not really the time.
The runes in front of you turn from green to orange.
And it's just what it is.
They turn from orange to red.
So I really think that perhaps we should talk about this another time.
Why are you being so weird, man?
With a massive explosion of rock, 2 of those sentinel creatures erupt out of the ground, standing on top of a bright red rune. The red is kind of just reflecting off of them. They're blocking the exit. Now, I don't want you to mistake me. It wasn't like they were hidden and they jumped up. I mean, they kind of popped into existence with this big explosion of rock, like they erupted out of the rune. The red light of that rune reflects brightly off of their emotionless steel facade, and a single glowing orb of blue is the closest that they have to a face. At the end of one arm is a tower shield that tapers toward the ground. At the end of the other arm is a hand balled into a fist. The best way to describe the rest of their armor is visualize Samus all suited up, except give her like a chrome, platinum, and gold paint job. They stand there in front of you. Dangerous item detected. Off-site access restricted. Present credentials. And on that note, tonight's Dungeons & Dragons session comes to a close.